Good morning, everybody. Hello, hello. Got my notes here. Today is going to be a very gross show. You will see why in a minute. This is Breakfast with Disaster, where we go live every Tuesday at 10:10 a.m. We show you all the grossest things that can happen so that you can avoid them. And you may ask how we know about all that stuff. It's because we work at ServPro. Good morning, Jackie, Brianna, Betty. How you guys doing? ServPro does all those gross things for you, so you never have to deal with anything gross or catastrophic ever again. We got Diane, Lisa. Good morning, guys. Everybody's sort of coming in today. My name is Dan Bauer. I may have already said that, and I will be your guide towards everything that is going to go wrong in March. We've got an interesting show for you guys. I do want to show you something that I think is pretty cool before that. You guys might remember we did something called Valentine's for Our Troops in early February, and what we did is we teamed up with the Blue Star Mothers, New York 7 chapter, and they're an awesome group, a group of mothers, grandmothers, foster mothers, stepmothers, female caretakers of individuals in the military, and they do all sorts of cool stuff. One of the big things that they do is they send these We Care packages every single month to service members all over the world. In February, we teamed up with them to collect some donations, but also with the West Seneca Central School District to not only collect donations, but to put together Valentine's, and we're just starting to get those care packages out. I just got these pictures recently. I can't tell you where they're stationed because of Department of Defense regulations, but I thought this was really cool. This is my favorite one. Hopefully you guys can see it okay. They put up all the Valentines on the wall. They said they were apparently super psyched to get everything. This was really cool to see, so I thought I would share, because I think it's very sweet. But we are not here to talk about good things. We are here to talk about terrible things. We're here to talk about disasters, right? And it's early March, and it's time again for our disaster forecaster. We look into our little crystal ball here, and also about a decade's worth of proprietary ServPro data, and we try to figure out what's going to go wrong in the month of March, based on what's happened in the past. And honestly, it's not going to be that bad. This is the month where we see not really so much emergencies, but about a 20% increase in deep cleaning. And this is sort of non-emergency general cleaning. I'm not talking about like maid service stuff. We're not the people you hire to, say, dust your house for you or mop your floors. This is non-emergency cleaning approach with the same sort of standard of care that we use after a fire or a biohazard, where there's really no margin for error. Nothing can be left behind. Usually it's, say, a commercial kitchen that's been neglected for about 10 years. Or we're working on one now, it's sterilizing a home for somebody who's immunocompromised who's coming back from the hospital. It's things like that. We see about a 20% increase, maybe because of spring cleaning, in March. And I'm not going to get into the details of what all that really entails because it will bore you to death, but I do have a general question for you, and that is, what is clean? What does clean mean when we approach these sorts of things, and how do you approach it? How do you assess if something is clean or not? This is where we get into the gross stuff, right? It's not an easy answer to that question. There's a body, it's called the IICRC, the Institute of Inspection, Cleaning, and Restoration Certification, and among other things, they write the standard of care that we follow in the work that we do, in almost everything that we do. And they have taken, as you can imagine, a stab at defining what clean is. And they found that clean really depends on what you're dealing with. Let's take a look maybe at water. Again, gross. They break water into 3 separate categories, right? This is category 1, water. You can see this is like normal, average, clear water. Shake in the jar. Category 1 water is fine. It's a sanitary water source that this water comes from. Now, all water damage is bad, but it's not equally bad. This is the least bad of all. It does not pose a risk if you're exposed to it or you ingest it. Think of like a broken toilet supply line. Not fun, but this is what the water looks like when it comes out. It's not too bad. Unfortunately, it does not take much for this to become this. You can see this is a little grosser, siltier. This is category 2. Unlike the sanitary water, category 2 is way grosser. It contains a significant amount of contamination with the potential to cause discomfort or sickness in people. And you can see this is not something that you would want to ingest or be exposed to. This is the sort of water that would come out of, say, a dishwasher overflow. Starts out as clean water, but as it runs, it gets detergents, chemicals, food runoff, etc. Is it the grossest thing in the world? No, but you certainly would not want to drink it. And if you want to see something really gross, those categories go all the way up to Category 3. This is the grossest one here. And I have a jar of it, a safe, sealed jar of Category 3 water. This is defined as grossly contaminated water. Potentially it has pathogens in it, toxins, stuff that could cause significant adverse reactions, is what the IICRC says. This is sewage backups, backflows from a used toilet, pretty much any form of flooding, which we've dealt with quite a bit over the past month, because that water picks up all sorts of microorganisms and contaminants as it rushes into your house. That's about as gross as it gets. And when this gets into your house, you've got all sorts of problems to deal with. This gets on your carpet, you extract it, you dry it out. This, you cut that carpet out, you burn it, you send it into space, you dispose of it. The point I'm making is that clean really varies with what you're dealing with and what you're trying to accomplish. In this case, you clean it. In this case, Category 3, it may never be satisfactorily clean again. In both cases, you're trying to get the contaminants out, but how you get there and what the end result is very different. But that's kind of the science of it, and I really don't think that's everything. There's an emotional component to what clean means that if you don't really understand it, you don't really get the full picture of what it means to clean or be clean or have something clean for someone. And there are a couple of different ways I can exemplify this. There's an agent that called me the other day, and I hope she's on. I'm not going to name her because, you know, none of my business, but agent called me the other day, and she had a problem. She insures a local nonprofit, and they have a commercial kitchen, and it's not really in use anymore, but that nonprofit had a problem anyway. They needed to get their insurance coverage approved, and they did not pass their inspection because of these filters above their deep fryers that were caked with grease. And they didn't have the deep fryers anymore, but the grease, it was still pretty gross and dirty, and it got flagged in the inspection, and they were told they needed to clean these things. For reasons, you know, I won't really get into, suffice to say that this customer was not really capable of cleaning these things themselves. What do you suppose that this agent did? Did she tell them to go kick rocks or find a way to deal with it themselves? No, she called me, and she asked to borrow some cleaning supplies, and I was more than happy to oblige her. And that night, she went out with her daughter and scrubbed these filters down herself, took all the pictures for the documentation, submitted them to the carrier, and made sure there was no lapse in coverage for this customer. Sure, yes, that is clean. And she did a great job, by the way. I did offer her a job at ServPro. I think she's got something else going on now, but she did an excellent job. And the point that I'm making here is that this is cleaning, sure, but it's also an uncommon act of care and kindness. And when you're cleaning for someone, when you're making something clean, when you're making the environment clean, that's really what you're doing. It's a lot more than just scrubbing grease. It's an emotional act. We see this pretty often ourselves in the work that we do. We had a woman call us about, I'm going to say it's a year and a couple of months ago. But I remember it very clearly because I spoke to her a lot. We're going to call her Denise. It's not her real name. And she had a problem when she called us. She had her father, he had been living alone for a long time, and he got sick, and to make matters worse, he had fallen, and I don't want to go into too much detail, but he got hurt in the home. And I'm not going to get into the details, like I said, but it was enough to qualify this particular issue as a biohazard. And poor Denise, wonderful, very sweet woman, got stuck with all sorts of responsibilities. And if you've ever been a caretaker to a parent, then you know it's a kind of an exhausting, dizzying, very taxing time. Not only did Denise have to figure out this cleaning, she had to figure out how to move her dad out of the house and get somebody else in there, and she had to wrangle all of her siblings, all of her in-laws to make this happen. So we asked her, which is kind of where we start with any sort of cleaning, what are you actually trying to accomplish here? What's important to you? And what she told us, and I have a quote here, that more than anything, she just wanted to feel safe and healthy again walking into that home. The way it stood, the way it was then, did not feel like home to her anymore. And she wanted to feel okay walking in there, that she wasn't in any danger, it didn't pose any sort of risk, that environment. So we got to work, and it was a single day of work, but it was a lot more than I think what most people realize cleaning is. The IICRC writes a manual for specific types of cleanings like this. They call them trauma cleanups. It's about 96 pages long, and the standards are very, very high. It's a lot more than shampooing the carpets. It's designed to make this place not just look clean, but feel clean, to make sure beyond any reasonable doubt that it's going to be safe. And it was nothing short of incredible what the crew was able to achieve in that one day. And when we called Denise, she was in tears. I will tell you exactly what she said. You were our last hope. You came through. You and your team made a very stressful situation easier to deal with. My family was absolutely amazed. They couldn't stand in that house for more than 2 minutes before, and now they feel safe. And that was, of course, very gratifying. And that, again, is an example of what clean means. It's not just clean countertops. It's not just sanitary floors. It's getting that feeling of home back. Or for that commercial kitchen I was just talking about, it's having somebody care enough to make sure that they don't get a lapse in their cupboards, that they're taken care of. So I can show you all these jars all day of what clean means and not so clean and super not clean means, but that's only half the story. The human element is really what matters when we do the work that we do. And keeping that in mind, and on top of all the gross sciencey stuff, we found to be very important. So March 2022, you're going to see a lot more cleanings, a lot more people just needing to deal with perhaps things that they've neglected. We certainly have seen an uptick in it. We see about a 20% rise every March. That's going to continue. So enjoy your spring cleaning. Hopefully it involves very little to none of that. I'd say we do our drawing now. Pop up the wheel. And again, if you guys have never been here for the drawing before, I'll explain it very quickly. This is for the Serve Pro Mug Club. And if you're not a member of the Mug Club, I don't know what you're doing because it's free and it's easy to do. You get a cool little, cute little coffee mug. I don't have one with me. You get a number on the bottom. We register that number to this here wheel. And if I draw that number once a week, you win a prize. And if you're watching and I draw your number, you win a double prize. So now is the time, if you have not commented, but you are watching, shoot a comment. Tell me good morning. Tell me bad morning. Tell me how gross it is that you had to look at all this gross water, whatever, just so I know you're there. Because if you're watching, you get that double prize, but there's no way for me to know that you're watching unless you comment. So I'll give you 1 second. And here we go. And we're going, and my sound's off, so we didn't get the clicky-clacky sound. Dan is having a great hair day today. Thank you, Kaylee. 398. Sounds familiar. Is that a recent winner? Gretchen. Gretchen is watching. I'm pretty sure I saw Gretchen on. But, Gretchen, I have to redraw. You just won. It's not right. I'm so sorry. Maybe I will, you know what? Maybe I'll Gretchen, I'll bring you something anyway. But I got to give somebody else a chance here. It's not fair. I don't know how you did that. I'm going to draw again. I'm going to write down, Gretchen, I will buy you lunch or something. We'll do 2 prizes today. 191. Let's see. Lindsay over at Strom. Lindsay, I don't think you're on today, but I will definitely give you a ring. Gretchen, you're a winner too. I can't take that away from you. I have no control over this wheel. 2 winners, Gretchen and Lindsay. So thank you guys for watching. Kaylee, thank you for noticing my great hair day. Stay safe out there. Hopefully nothing goes wrong. If it does, you can always call me. I will be there. And I will see you guys next week at 10 a.m. for another installment of Breakfast with Disaster. See you guys.